Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday, August 17th, 2010. Thanks for stopping by. If you are a person who is opposed to fascism or racism, you've really got your work cut out for you these days. Fascism is really on the rise, and racism is on the rise. And militarism, all sorts of evil seem to be multiplying in the land. I guess that's because the economy is in trouble, has been for a long time, and will get much worse before it's over. Now, in the Great Depression, there was a big fascist and nativist movement. Nativist means opposed to immigrants and opposed to other cultures, other belief systems, other religions. That's nativist. There was a big nativist movement in the United States during the Great Depression, but it was overwhelmed completely by a much bigger socialist movement. And this is what is responsible for Social Security, for instance. This is what is responsible for many of the regulations of the banking industry and the social safety nets that we have in the United States that have helped so many people to live better lives, that helped to bring about the end of the Great Depression and a long period of economic prosperity. And, the country has become much more civilized since the time when the nativist movement and the fascist movement arose during the Great Depression. On the other hand, we're now in the middle of another Great Depression. Whether people want to recognize it for that or not is up to them, but in my opinion, this is going to be just as bad or worse than the Great Depression before it's over. And what we have now is another fascist and nativist movement growing and gaining ground in the United States. And it happened as soon as 9/11 happened. As soon as 9/11 transpired, I can remember people totally going off the deep end and totally becoming fascist and racist in their thinking. Suddenly people were talking about how great torture was, how horrible other religions are, how murder and mayhem is okay as long as we're the ones doing it. But if someone else is doing it, it's a horrible, horrible crime. And those people have to be not just punished, but savagely destroyed, erased, slaughtered. And that's what they deserve. But of course, if we do the very same thing or something worse, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way people were talking. And they were talking about total obeisance and servitude to the government. And if you did not believe in those ideas, you were un-American. And, I think people have woken up to a certain extent. Some people have woken up. Some people have come to understand how wrong that thinking is, and others have entrenched themselves and become even more authoritarian, slavish, fascist, and racist in their thinking. And so, if you want to oppose that, you've got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work on your hands. They are erecting a huge wall on the Mexican border, or they have. It's not really that new. It's been there for a while now, but they're always expanding this wall and strengthening this wall and trying to send more troops to the border. There should be no troops on the border, and there should be no wall. There should be a door with a welcome mat. Anybody who wants to come to this country should be able to come to this country raise their hand, make a little pledge, sign a little paper, and be just as American as everybody else. That's the way it ought to be. And if we did it that way, there wouldn't be any problems of people not paying taxes. There wouldn't be any problems of people getting social services that they don't deserve. Everybody would be equal, everybody would pay taxes, and everybody would contribute to our economy and make it better. But we don't want that. We want people who are brown or people who speak other languages to go away. Or if they come here, to be less than us, to serve us, but not to have the same rights as us. That's what we seem to want these days. That's why they're making those racist laws in Arizona and now in Florida and in several other states. They're thinking about making openly, overtly racist laws and trying to enforce them. We should never forget that we're all immigrants to this country. We're all immigrants, except for Native Americans who immigrated 10,000 years ago. So they're probably less immigrants than we are, but even they are originally immigrants. But we're all the descendants of immigrants, and here we are telling Mexicans that they can't come here, that they have to go away. You know, the Statue of Liberty, is the Statue of Liberty holding a stick guarding the east coast of America against the immigrants? No. She's holding a torch to light their way. That America is dead because we have killed it. The America that we have now has no Statue of Liberty. There's a wall, like the Berlin Wall, like the Israel Wall. There's a wall to keep people out. And the land that we're trying to keep them out of is Mexico. I mean, you look at the west side of America, every town has a Spanish name. Why do you think that is? Why do we sit around in towns with Spanish names and tell Spanish people they can't come here? It's total insanity. And now, they're trying to build a mosque and community center 2 blocks from ground zero in an old Burlington coat factory. Now, these people building this mosque, they are trying to bring about interfaith, intercultural cooperation and understanding. They're trying to bring Muslims and Christians and Jews and atheists together in a welcoming environment so they can understand each other. And they're going to construct a public swimming pool, public auditoriums, public restaurants, and other public spaces where anybody can go and benefit from these public services. And people are saying that the old Burlington coat factory is a war memorial. And furthermore, that the people that we're at war with are those people in New York who are trying to build the community center? Really? Is that really the argument? Yes, that's the argument they're trying to make. They're trying to say that we're at war with American Muslims who actually were just as victimized by 9/11 as we were, who knew people who died on 9/11, who were blamed for 9/11, and who have been discriminated against since 9/11. Those people, they want you to believe are the bad guys. And because they want to build a mosque and community center 2 blocks from ground zero in an old coat factory, they're desecrating a war memorial. And I want you to remember, too, that this is not the only mosque that people are fighting against. All over the country, people are now trying to prevent Muslims from building mosques or community centers. And they're calling the Muslims intolerant. Thanks for watching.